The office is where you make it. Some people are making offices in space. Let's talk about it. Welcome back. Everything is starting to feel a little more normal, and people are talking about returning to the office. It was even a theme at last week's FAA Managers Association conference in Las Vegas. But going back to the office is a little too normal for me, and a little too normal for Jeff Bezos. While FAMA was talking about everyone coming back to their cubicles, Blue Origin unveiled plans to launch the Orbital Reef, a private space station it describes as mixed-use business park. So somewhere between 2025 and 2030, Starship WeWork will launch. And now that's a WeWork and an office I could get behind. With separate headquarters for living, working, and lease out work, research, tourism. Accommodations are up to 10 people. I bet you those offices will be pretty expensive. And it would have similar space as the current International Space Station. That is super cool. Now, this is not just another Bezos publicity stunt like launching James T. Kirk up into space for a little bit. Blue Origin is partnered with Sierra Space, which is a subsidiary of Sierra Nevada Corporation, and they've been in the space game for a very long time. Blue Origin is not alone in this kind of venture either. NanoRacks will help replace NASA's orbital laboratory in 2027, and Axiom will add a module to the International Space Station in 2024. Lots of and then it will detach and go solo. So a lot of private companies building space station kind of stuff and putting them up there. So I've got to figure out how to get on the Space WeWork list so I can get my shot. It's pretty bad when the highlight of a drone advisory committee is that there won't be a drone advisory committee, and it's going to be the Advanced Aviation Advisory Committee, the AAAC. So DAC to AC. I'm not even sure how you say that acronym, but the DAC has expanded to include advanced air mobility integration issues as well as unmanned aircraft integration issues. We had a hint of this when Jaewon Chin from Hyundai was on the committee the last time they met in a category called AAM. Well, that was kind of news to everybody, sort of didn't hit the Federal Register, but now that's all cleaned up. Kind of a faux pas on the FACA procedures, I think. But the AAAC will expand its membership from 35 members to 41 and expand the stakeholder groups to be more inclusive of the AAM community. And I gotta say that this is the right thing to do. There is way more money being poured into AAM than was into UAS. And so you put those two together and you have a very powerful group of new entrants that are struggling to figure out how to get entry into the traditional airspace. It's a good move. Hey, it's been announced in the Federal Register, and upcoming is how you apply and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, solid move on the FAA. Hey, what comes around goes around. Amazon protested Microsoft's selection of the $10 billion JEDI IT contract. And I don't know all the specifics, but I do know this. Microsoft is now protesting Amazon's selection of the $10 billion NSA cloud contract. JEDI was resolved by giving everybody a piece of the pie. And if this turns out the same, the government should just write a rule or something that says, just give everybody a piece of the pie from the start if you can't figure this stuff out. Whoa. Well, TSA can get a little ornery once in a while, and now there's actual evidence of that kind of attitude. They tested and apparently very much liked a patented method of recycling those airport security trays back in 2005. The company holding the patent to that methodology is Security Point Holdings, who just simply wanted to advertise themselves on those trays. I don't really look at them, so I don't know that I would have cared. TSA turned them down, and they deployed the method anyway to the country's 10 largest airports. Security Point then filed suit back in 2011, and they just received a verdict. The TSA owes Security Point $103 million in royalties They should have just let them put their sticker on the side of those trays. The TSA admitted that they used the methodology, but they also argued that the patent expired in 2015, so they didn't owe them that much. Wow, this is a super historic outcome. It's the largest patent infringement by the government ever. Important safety tip. If you have a good idea, keep tabs on it. Patents are pretty cheap. You can apply for 125 bucks. Because, hey, you never know when a good idea becomes a good idea. Timing is everything. The FAA has turned to public and social media to do good things about how to show safety issues at airports, to show, to come out against and advertise unruly passenger issues, and it has had some effect, and to keep us informed on things that the FAA is doing. They're doing a miraculous job. NASA, on the other hand, who I have always held in high regard as far as public affairs, has actually moved to, sort of the shock therapy on delivering the news. Thanks to the Reason Foundation for breaking down the numbers here. But NASA just announced that they are done with the technology after testing it for many years at Charlotte and Dallas-Fort Worth. To when you push back from your gate, that you'll have free and clear shot to get to the runway and take off. And that was going to provide up to 275,000 gallons a year, 8 tons of CO2 per day, and 916 hours of less delay over 4 years. Wow, that sounds great. I have no issue with that. They're going to transfer that technology and put it in TFDM, one of the traffic flow management programs that is built by Leidos. This is great. But wait a minute. The Reason Foundation says, wait, whoa, slow down. What? Why are these different time periods? I never even noticed. What does this really mean? So they took a look at the numbers, and to get them to daily figures and then divide them by the number of average daily departures out of Charlotte, and we get fuel savings of 1 gallon per departure, CO2 by 20 pounds of departure, delay reduction by 3 seconds per departure. Wow. That's a different story. But I will say, it's better. So they're not exciting numbers, but they are better numbers. And over every single departure, that adds up to a lot. That's what evolution should look like, and that's what evolution does. It doesn't have to be magic. It just has to move the ball. And this moves the ball. So I don't like that it's being detracted that it's some magical thing that's going to happen, because we're all going to get on an airplane, we're all going to get delayed getting to the runway at some point, and that happens. But this is moving the ball. It's a really good thing. It's progress. This is next gen. Lance, now you can use it after hours, after the sun goes down. It's still available on your phone. You can still get authorization. The FAA announced that drone pilots with a Part 107 certificate can now get an authorization to fly at night through Lance, which is the automated system to allow recreational and commercial services to provide authorization into controlled airspace at 726 airports. So this is a huge deal, because when the sun goes down, commercial people particularly don't stop flying to take pictures. In April, as part of the new modification of the Part 107 rule with flights over people, moving vehicles, and flights at night and other conditions, now the flights can be just done through Lance. Push the button, off you go. So each year, the FAA onboards new Lance companies that provide that service, but also new capabilities come on every year, and that's part of the process. So this past onboarding was a revalidation of not only current service providers, but also increased security and this kind of capability. Again, progress. Hey, the drones are coming. The drones are coming. 1 light by sea, 2 by... No, that's Paul Revere. That is not drones. So, but I like Paul Revere, and it does seem like crying wolf, but maybe not this time. Google has recently reached a major milestone, completing over 100,000 successful retail drone deliveries. I had no idea. We might be getting past the point where it's just delivering coffee and library books in Christiansburg, Virginia. hopefully we're going to do a heck of a lot more than that. Some other big things part of that with reaching that milestone is Wing has unveiled a new airplane model that will be able to allow it to bring more delivery services to densely populated U.S. areas, which is good because Christiansburg isn't really that populated. And the big deal is that the airplane is much quieter. Hey, that's got to be huge. It is a great focus of theirs to make sure that they integrate in a way that society will accept. The setup allows retailers to put a small delivery hub on nearly any rooftop or parking lot. It's kind of like their own little hangar, and then they can deploy that service right there. Sort of a whole drone operation in a box, just dropped on your doorstep. Walgreens has opted to be the launch customer for the new product, and they'll start in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And you know, got to give them credit. Wing has gained a lot of experience in Australia and Finland, as well as near Virginia Tech and Christiansburg, and it seems to be working. And you know, now, and the way that they plan the service through Walgreens is you can download the Wing app. You get a limited selection of goods, which will include coffee and groceries. They say sushi, but you know, not my recommended side. And pet food, which is constantly on my list to go get. And of course, sweets. Okay, I always need a candy fix. Gone are the days when you forgot a birthday or something like that when you can get a cake delivered by drone. You're just going to have to own up to it and push the button. That way you can act like you didn't forget. In Australia, deliveries are taking less than 10 minutes, with the normal delivery between 2 minutes and 47 seconds between when you ask and when it gets delivered. Wow. That would be fantastic, especially for coffee, pet food, that candy fix. If Wing can push this service like that, then I think that's going to take off, but that's really going to mean a rapid need for UTM. So Wing is ready for that too. They just became an authorized LANC provider, step one in that UTM service level of things, and with this last onboarding cycle that we just had. So they're well on their way becoming the one-stop place for drone delivery service. Hey, if you like what you heard, leave me a comment, push like. Hey, if you didn't like what you heard, tell me why. Tell me what you want to hear next time. Anyway, we'll talk to you next week. They've been doing it in shit.